Freedom and happiness. We always talk of the freedom outside in the world. If I have a lot of money, I enjoy freedom. Is it true? And if it is true, are you free during the times of coronavirus? That wealth doesn't help us to be free. And happiness? Is happiness outside or within us? Second question, is happiness my permanent or essential nature? Next question, is happiness different from pleasure? Is the goal of human life is to live, work in permanent state of happiness? All these questions are answered by a simple sutra of the Patanjali. That is the second sutra in the first chapter, Yoga Sutra Nirodha. Patanjali also says, along with other masters, that we have to understand by the process of Shabd, Arth, Jnana, what is the word, what is the meaning, and what exactly is the essence. We should not get carried away by the popular notions. So when we say Yoga Sutra Nirodha, in the previous talks, we understood the Vyasa, the great commentator, explains. From the same way, the word, what is yoga? Meaning, physical exercise. Standing on two hands, walking with the hands, twisting your belly. That is popular notion. It helps. But what is the right notion according to the teachings of these masters? The Vyasa says yoga samadhi. Yoga is the highest state of meditation. So what happens in meditation? Knowledge of the reality dawns. Am I not living in the reality of this world outside? I'm living. This world is real. But the science says when you see the world, you are living in your room. Is solid really as solid? No, it is pure energy. But it appears as a solid. Popular notion and the real notion. So the Master Patanjali says emptying the mind of its contents is yoga. Emptying the mind of those contents which creates a false notion that shapes my attitude, behavior and personality. So we have to empty the mind of its contents that creates the wrong and the false perception is yoga. Yoga Sutra Nirodha. We literally translate Nirodha means suppression, control of the mind. How long you can control your mind? And what will happen if you control your mind? People have been controlling their mind for 10 years, and a slight attachment destroys that control. Is Patanjali saying that? According to Vyasa, the commentator, Patanjali is saying empty the mind of those contents which causes problem, suffering, limitation, bondage. What we are seeking? Freedom. what we are seeking, permanent state of happiness. So it is not that we have to follow the modern psychology and defining yoga based on the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Why? Because yoga aims at self-discovery, and science discovers the world and its phenomena outside. It is the objective reality. So how can you discover the subjective reality by a scientific protocol? And how you can discover the objective reality with a subjective protocol? The principles are totally different. With that clarity, when we understand that what Patanjali is saying, emptying the mind of its contents, which is creating a false perception, like the way I gave an example of is it really solid? The wall is solid. No, it is energy. Yoga always looks for the cause. It is not looking for the symptoms. That is, so we can really understand. Do you need a science to understand that? Then, why we empty the mind of the false perception? So that in the same mind we can reflect our true nature. We can discover the permanent state of happiness. Many ways to understand that. No desire means, no thought means, no desire. When there is no desire, there is no objective world. There is no thought pattern pertaining to the world outside. Then the wandering mind, obsessed mind, and forgetfulness mind drops. That is the way we should understand Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So what happens when we empty the mind of its contents that creates the false perception? What happens when you leave the surface of the water in an ocean undisturbed? What happens? There is no waves, there is no turmoil. You cannot calm down the water by throwing pebbles and the stones in the water. So what happens? The water now becomes still, calm down. That is okay. Byproduct of meditation is definitely rest, relaxation, calmness, but something deeper happens. That mind, which I'm giving an example, is a water in an ocean, calms down. You emptied. You emptied all the disturbances. You cannot control the disturbances. So when we say control the mind is yoga, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, that is a wrong perception. You want to control the turbulence in the water by throwing a stone? How long it will happen? It cannot happen. So what happens when the water on the surface calms down? You can see deep inside. So is this the objective of this sutra, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha? Answer is yes. In order to perceive the reality, the mind must go within. What is that reality? My subjective reality, not the objective reality. Science is good. Science is enough. But to see within myself, the mind must be emptied of those contents which has been creating the false perception, wrong notion leading to delusion. Think in the way that you're looking at in a desert, you look at the water in a desert. You know it is a mirage, the water is not there. The mind puts it in trouble. Mind sees, here is the pleasure outside, it is not, it is a mirage. Happiness is not there. That is why this sutra, empty the mind of its contents, is yoga. And the Vyasa says yoga is the highest state of meditation. And our master says, what happens in meditation? The knowledge of the reality dawns. Knowledge of the reality. What is that reality? It is Satchidanand, absolute existence, consciousness, bliss. What are the attributes of it? Permanent happiness, pure awareness, truth, love, and the wisdom.